So online dating is weird. Despite what my mom says, online dating is no longer for weird people who never leave the house. It's for people who are online, which is all of us. Like all the time. Although I might fit into both categories, but whatever. Suddenly we have unlimited access to a huge pool of people, anytime, anywhere, and theoretically that should make dating easy peasy lemon squeezy. But it actually makes dating difficult, confusion, lemon related. So today's video is inspired by Aziz Ansari's Modern Romance, which is a funny yet honest look at how people operate in the world of online dating. The book is filled with these quirky little research studies that aim to observe and critique the unique struggles that our generation faces when it comes to dating that other people just don't understand, you know. He talks extensively about online dating because, you know, that's just how we meet people nowadays. Without further ado, let's jump into my top 5 takeaways for how online dating can suck less. The first thing I want to talk about is creating the profile. The app-friendly alternative to seeing someone across the room is looking at their pictures, obviously. So Aziz did a study on the most common types of pictures that people put in their profile. So pictures with family, pictures with friends, pictures with pets, travel photos, dick, and he found that there was a difference between the photos that got the most attention and the photos that sparked the most conversations. So although the thirst traps could probably get you the most amount of swipes and the most amount of matches, it's the photos that are a bit more personal that show maybe your hobbies or your interests or just you being the human being that you are. Those are the pictures that will make it more likely for someone who could vibe with you to message you, right? I found that some apps were better at personalizing than others. For example, I really liked Hinge because aside from just photos on your profile, you have these prompts or questions that you answer that show your personality or whatever. And you know, if you're like me and has the personality of a cheese stick, then you know, at least I'll know. Personally, Tinder was a bit difficult for me because I couldn't really gauge my attraction for people just by looking at photos. And there was a suspicious amount of people who had photos of them with tigers, and I just don't think that all of them could have been as big as the Joe Exotic fan as I am. So like, not sure we'd be compatible, you know. But all jokes aside, at the end of the day, you're creating a profile that will not attract as many people as you can, but will attract someone who is specifically compatible with you. And you might need to play around with different platforms or apps to find what works best. The second point is treating people as people. So it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking of online dating as online shopping because, well, there are a lot of similarities. Like, you have a huge selection, you're going in there with a purpose, you know what you want, and with some of these apps, you can even check off these filters so that you only are shown people with certain traits. So for example, you can say something like, I only date guys who are 6'2" and within a 2-kilometer radius and owns a dog and only smokes weed if it gives you a mind high but not a body high and only watches movies with Owen Wilson. Like, you can get so specific with these. And in a way, these apps are promoting the idea that dating is about obtaining the perfect product. There's this whole narrative on getting the guy or getting the girl, and when you're in that mindset of taking, obtaining, winning, it's very easy for that to overshadow an honest evaluation of whether or not that person is right for you. So it's really hard to get around this, but I think the bottom line is when we're online dating, our goal shouldn't be to come home with this trophy embodiment list of traits that we've always ever wanted, but it's to come home with someone who we truly connect with and that we can communicate well with, who meets our needs, because those are things that are really important in a relationship. That is if you want a relationship though. I know that I've been on these apps for various other reasons, like trying to find someone who can get me a volunteer job to supplement my grad school applications and other dirty, naughty things like that. Number 3 is don't overwhelm yourself with options. Aziz did some interviews with people who live in New York who clearly have a ton of people at their disposal. Not disposal. People are not disposable. The most common thing they said was that dating is exhausting. They're going on so many dates and meeting so many people and trying to get to know them all, but with no results, and it gets so frustrating that people start to give up. Aziz mentions the paradox of choice in relationships. When we're given a huge selection of choices, naturally we want to find the best. So we're reluctant to settle for less because, you know, who knows? Around the corner there might be Ben who makes $5 more than Jeff. Or there might be Derek who has more peach trees on his Animal Crossing island than Mark. You know, there's always the possibility of someone being better, so we tend not to make a choice at all, and we're stuck in this loop of meeting new people after new people, and nothing ever comes out of it. So some may try to get around this by dating several people at once. But the tricky part with that is there's this concept called Dunbar's number, which states that we can only hold a maximum of 15 stable, close relationships in our lives at a time. And when we go beyond that, our brain is like it's physically unable to can. I don't think there's a set number of people that you should be dating at once. That's up to your discretion and it's different for everyone. But if dating is starting to feel like a chore, maybe it's a good idea to reduce the number of people that you're talking to or dating so that you can properly invest time into getting to know them, and it'll make making a choice less of a burden. So the fourth point is being honest. So to be honest with other people, we need to be honest with ourselves. What are we looking for? What are we open to? What are we not open to? And just be comfortable with that idea and be comfortable with sharing it with someone else. However, I do want to play devil's advocate with the question, what are you looking for? Because it's a really common question and it's likely that you'll be asked. It's not always that simple to answer. How many times have you fancied a guy and then 2 weeks later you realize he's as weird as the cousin who you're forced to talk to at family dinners? How many times have you said that you were just hooking up but then you find yourself fantasizing about your 3 kids on a farm in Costa Rica? See, we never really know how we feel about a person until we get to know them. So there are 2 aspects of what are you looking for that we need to be honest about. One is, what are you ultimately intending on looking for when going on this app? And 2, once you get to know someone, once you've gone on a couple of dates, you've been talking for weeks, now you have to answer, what are you looking for specifically with them? Sometimes these 2 things are the same, but unfortunately, sometimes these 2 things are not the same. And when that happens, we need to take matters into our own hands and have an honest conversation with them about where we stand and where we see things going. Aziz found something that was kind of interesting. So when people were asked whether they would want someone else to be honest with them if things weren't going anywhere, most people said yes. But when asked if they would do the same thing for someone else, most people said no. So although we value honesty, the truth is not many of us give it, which is sad because dating is fucking hard and we should all just be nice to each other, Karen. I heard this quote in a book or a movie somewhere where someone said, your perfect person is somewhere out there and they're gonna be really mad at me for keeping them waiting. Something like that. Thought that was really cute. But going back to the what are you looking for question. When asked this in the early stages, like on a first date or something, I think people are reluctant to disclose the fact that they're looking for a relationship because they think that it might scare the person off, or it'll make the person feel awkward, or it'll pressure them to fit into your expectations. But I think it's perfectly okay to say something like, I'm looking for a relationship but only if it's right, or I'm looking for someone to connect with and whatever comes out of it is what it is. So this will clearly show your intentions to the other person. However, it also sends a message that you understand there's uncertainty in the world of dating, and that's okay. It can work out, it cannot work out, and everything's still fine. And number 5 is take everything I say with a grain of salt because love is hard and dating is confusing and no one knows what the fuck we're doing. Okay, bye. No, but really, relationships is one of those things where there's no method to the madness and there's no secret formula that we can always follow that guarantees success. But that's what makes it so special. So no matter where you are on your dating journey, I wish you the best of luck. Bye!